let's give it up for Lockport Township and Alex Sapien and Michelle and all. Thank you. Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, so first we'll have Tina from the White Oak Library.
Hello, thank you. So first we wanted to say thank you for stopping by our table and saying so many wonderful things. People walk by, say good morning, but the number of people who said such kind things about, you know, hey, if it wasn't for you being here, I wouldn't have even realized the programs going on, or how to use Libby and how to access information. So thank you, because that feedback is very important to us. We do have a great deal of fantastic programs coming up, and we did leave some of the April programs. If you didn't get one or are interested, we do have more. But if you're into gardening and beekeeping, it is 'tis the season, so we have plenty of programs about that coming up. Literature and libations, we have our great speed dating with a book coming up at our Crest Hill branch, and then we have our annual STEM Fest. So if you're into science, or if you have grandkids who love that kind of thing, come on out to our Romanville branch for our annual STEM Fest too. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. We are very lucky to have Joanne Rancic. She is with Presto Real Estate Services, and she's the sponsor of today, and so we get to thank her for all the delicious food we just got. So,
good morning. Happy spring. Who started their spring cleaning? There's a few hands. Lovely. So I am Joanne Rancic, and I'm with White Realtors Homes by Presto, full service real estate. But I'm also part of Presto Real Estate and Services. And so that is a company that sits right alongside our real estate company. And we provide move services, downsizing services, and we will help with a floor plan. We will get seniors moved to a new home, settled into a new home, and then the real estate company takes over and looks at what's left at the house. Because when we're downsizing, all the stuff we have isn't going to fit into our new home. And as you know, none of our kids want any of it. So what do we do with it? We take a look and we work with estate sale companies. We have them come alongside us and decide if there's enough to actually hold the sale. If there is, we get it on the calendar, we do an estate sale, and then with what's left, we have a clean out crew come in, and they will donate as much as they can. If we can save it from going into a landfill, and we can get it into the hands of somebody who is in need and can use this, that's our plan. Now the house is empty, we take a look, and maybe it hasn't been painted in 20 years or 25 years. And the artwork is off the wall, and you can see where the artwork was hanging. So maybe it needs a coat of paint to get it on the market. We do what's called a refresh if it's necessary and the homeowner agrees, but that is paint new bright light fixtures with LED lights and sometimes flooring. So now the house is ready to go. We get a photographer in there, take pictures, get it on the market, and the home that's been refreshed is going to sell a lot more quickly in this market than it would if we had done nothing. So I have a few brochures and menu of services on my table. If you're interested, cards, you can always call me, reach out, and I'm happy to chat with any of you. Thank you.
okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I just want to, just give a couple additional announcements. We obviously will be meeting next They're setting up the presentation right now, so I'm the filler. But obviously we're here next month. We're going to be talking about not only some fraud, but actually finances in the 50 plus. So looking forward to that. I hope you all can be here. Before you leave, you can certainly sign up. So then we have your reservation already, so don't forget to do that. Obviously, all of us vendors, we have stuff for you to enjoy. So please come and take before you leave, and certainly go see your library and get your books and all of that fun stuff. Anybody have any questions or comments, anything before we begin? No? Nothing? No questions? I can't believe it. Not yet. Okay. All right. So it was perfect when Joanne kind of set this presentation up by saying, like, it's spring and there's spring cleaning. And I can tell you, I cannot wait for this presentation because my whole house needs to be decluttered. I've got 3 kids, a husband, myself. I mean, we're a family of 5. We got a lot of stuff. So I'm looking forward to this, and I hope you get something out of it. Obviously, there's a handout, but if you need something else, other resources and whatnot and information, you just let me know before you leave, and I'm happy to do that. Okay? And they're just kind of setting up, so just enjoy the rest of your breakfast. Get your coffee, get your water, whatever you need, and we'll be back in 1 second. Thank you.
Just in case. Are those good? That's in here? Okay.
Okay, everyone. So we're sorry that for whatever reason there's just a little technical issue with the slides and whatnot. That's okay because the best part about this type of subject is you really don't need to actually see particular things. Some of it's just graphics, so it's all good. I'm very, very honored to welcome and introduce Rick Planos. He's actually an AARP volunteer, lead volunteer. He does advocacy for us. He does community programming just like this. He goes to Springfield. He's all over the place. He's really, really fantastic. He's from Evanston, so he came kind of a bit of a way to get here today, so we're happy that he's here. So please give him his attention, and he will lead you all in making sure you are feeling decluttered, not only in your house, but maybe even your mind. Just saying. Okay, here's Rick.
Can everybody hear me if I don't use the mic? Can you hear me in the back? I've really never had a problem with people saying I'm not loud enough. So.
No, you're going to have to use the mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Here we go. I'll sing a few songs off my first album. Anyhow, like Courtney said, I'm a proud volunteer of AARP, and I am happy to be here today. Of course, on the one day that the laptop doesn't connect, we have more people than usual, so that would be part of the course. As I was pulling into the parking lot today, my daughter called me from New York, and she was still laughing when I got out of the car about the fact that I was giving this presentation on decluttering. I am probably the last person that should be talking on this. I come from a long line of hoarders, and so, but hopefully we will be able to share some good ideas today as the best practices. I am constantly told by my kids that they want to make sure that I'm not keeping all the stuff that I got from my parents. So you can hopefully learn from that. But anyhow, we will go through this, and we will do it without slides, so you can look at my ugly face or look at each other, hopefully. First of all, usually we start with a picture of King Tut. Okay, and we usually talk about King Tut and the fact that he was one of those people that left a lot of stuff. Okay, and a lot of us enjoyed seeing that stuff, but a lot of us don't have that kind of money or that kind of tomb that we're going to end up in. So hopefully we're going to understand more today about why stuff is important to us, why that stuff is less important to our children, and why we need to think about what stuff we can get rid of now and what stuff we can find a good way to find a rehome for it. I went through this a few years ago. I was a caregiver for 5 years for my mom before she passed away, and we were able to do a lot of nice things while she was alive with her things that really turned out to be much simpler for all of us after she was gone. So a few ground rules for what we're going to do today. Hopefully, let's share the floor with each other. There'll be some time to ask questions. I'll try to keep that to the end. This is a judgment-free zone. I've already bared my soul and told you that I am not the one that is decluttered. So we're all here to learn. And please, if you can, turn off your cell phones. So first of all, one of the reasons that decluttering is important is because those of us in this room are the fastest growing demographic. Okay? There are 10,000 people every day that turn 65. Okay? 2011 marked the beginning of a large age wave of people, more people that are older than people that are younger. In 40 years, 33% of America will be over 65 years old. We will be the largest, most powerful buying group in America. And there's a difference between generations and the stuff they value. Okay? The age gap for older Americans, the age gap between their parents and themselves is about 20 years. For Generation Xers, they're 30 to 35 years older than their kids. And the two oldest generations have the most stuff. We've got the most junk that we want to pass down to our younger generations, and they don't always want it. How many people, let's raise our hands, how many people have dealt with that already where they found that they don't really want it? Exactly. So just to clarify what we're going to be talking about here, the silent generation are those born between 1928 and 1945. Baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. Generation X, 1965 to 1980. Millennials, 1981 to 1996. And then there's that other generation on top of that. Okay. People in our age bracket attach pride to their stuff because their stuff brings back memories and it helps them remember why they did all that hard work to get that stuff. Okay. The number one thing that impedes people from leaving their home or getting health care into their homes is the stuff. And the number one thing that caregivers worry about is dealing with the stuff. They don't worry about giving the care. They don't worry about the person getting sick. They worry about, what am I going to do with all this stuff when they're gone? It's the number one thing that caregivers are curious about. And there's a big slide that says, nobody wants your stuff, which is really the only message you really need to get out of today. Okay? So let's look at how we can make that easier, not just for ourselves, but for that next generation. I'm going to give you 10 helpful hints. Okay? First of all, include everyone in your downsizing and decluttering. Don't try to do it yourself. Okay, one, you're too attached to the stuff. And two, it's a big project for all of us. I mean, I've gone from a 6,500 square foot home to a one-bedroom apartment. It's still got too much stuff for me to handle on my own. Okay, so include your spouse, your partner, your grandkids, everyone. Okay, maybe you've got a niece or nephew or a neighbor. But the more people you get involved with this, the more they can be objective about what to do with your stuff. Okay? Give everyone a chance to help. Second point, do a 10-minute sweep. This is the best way to attack one room or one closet, okay? Instead of looking at the room as a whole, look at a small section, 2 feet by 2 feet. Take that small section, look at the room that's really packed, okay? Look at the small 2 foot by 2 foot section. Compare this to losing, if you had to lose 50 pounds, okay? If you try to do it in a week, you're not gonna do it, and you're gonna get really frustrated, okay? But if you focus on losing 1 pound at a time, it's doable. So have everyone in the family pick a 2 foot by 2 foot section and clean that section for 10 minutes. Not more than 10 minutes, not less than 10 minutes, but they got 10 minutes. That way they don't overthink it, okay? Maybe try this at night before your favorite TV show comes on. Stay consistent, do it 5 nights in a row, and every week you'll see that your house starts to look a little bit more manageable. Tip number 3, unpack every bag, okay? You know how you leave stuff in the suitcases and the suitcases are full? Or for me, it's not suitcases, it's those plexi bins you get at Target, you know, that you just use, people use for their Christmas stuff, but I use them for everything. Okay, you put it in a bin and you forget about it. Unpack those and look at what's in it, okay? Look at the bottom of it, look what's in the grocery bags, look at what's in those trash bags that you can't see through in the basement. Unpack them and go through everything that's there. Point number 4, in your apartment, in your house, wherever you live, remember that every item has a home. If it doesn't have a home, then you probably need to get rid of it, okay? Don't let it stack up in that one corner or that basement. Groceries always go in the kitchen, tools go in the garage, clothes go in a closet. When the closet's full, that means you've got enough clothes. Okay? That's an easy one, right, ladies? Yeah, I was in the clothing business, so I know that's a tough one. Okay? Remember the rule, also, this is a subset of point 4, equal in, equal out. When you bring something new in, something old goes out. Okay? Just because you bought something on sale doesn't mean your closet got bigger. Doesn't mean your home got bigger. I gotta tell you, I don't know how we're from the same family, but I have a sister that does live by that. She is amazing about something new comes in, I bring her a gift, that same day something goes out. And I'm telling you, she's very, very organized. Point number 5. The 4-pile sort. There's 4 choices. Things are kept, things you sell, things you're going to donate, and things that go in the trash. Okay, and it's important to know those, like, everyone get into a habit of this is where we sell things. Like for me, I've had really good luck with Facebook Live, okay, or Facebook Marketplace. Okay, that's a really easy one to do. It's free, it's easier than Craigslist. You put it on, it's anonymous, they don't know who you are, okay? You get to manage the messages electronically. It's very, very simple, but have that place that you go to, you know, sell things, okay? Maybe it's eBay for you. There's all kinds of options, but have that one thing you know. If this is something I value, this is something my family and my neighbors don't want, I'm always going to put it here, okay? Also, have that place where you donate. For me, my grandparents are immigrants. I usually donate my things to immigrant causes, okay? So I have a place that I always go to when I've got that winter coat that now is too big or too small or whatever. I always go to the same place, okay? I know there's a building in Evanston that is for seniors that are impoverished, and I always take the stuff there. So I know, I put it in the car, I'm always stopping off there, that's where it goes. And then don't be afraid to throw some things out. Okay? There are some things that just, you know, that ripped t-shirt, that stained blouse, you really don't, no one's gonna really want that. Okay, it's not gonna get better. I know for me, it's often coming to grips with the fact that I'm not gonna be that size ever again. I don't know that I'm ready to buy into that 1 year rule of, okay, I haven't worn it for a year. I don't know about that, but you kind of know, I'm not going to be a small ever again. Okay, so bite the bullet. Point number 6, distribute legacy items now. Okay, everyone makes that list of things you're going to give away once you're gone, but I can tell you, it is far more fulfilling to do it while you're alive. And I went through this with my mom, and I've gone through it with myself, okay? I told my mom, there was a point where my mom wasn't going to be wearing jewelry anymore. And I said, she had ideas in her head about what would go to which family member. And I was like, I'm going to have this in the house. I'm going to have to worry about a caregiver putting it in their pocket. Or you can give it away now. So we put it all out on the dining room table. We got some Post-it notes. We named everybody in the family, the girls, the guys that had wives. And my wife, my mom and I laid it all out. And then she looked at it and said, wow, when you look at it all on a big dining room table, you could see it wasn't really fair. This piece really, she would like this better. And his wife would really appreciate that. And this person was getting too much. So we redivided it. And my mom got so much joy. My mom had Alzheimer's, but she got so much joy out of giving it to people while she was alive. And they got a chance to wear it sometimes in front of her. It was fantastic. Okay? And it was far better than going through the fight after she was gone of everybody arguing over who wanted what. Okay? So think about doing that now and how much more enjoyable that could be. I was in the retail business in my career, okay? I worked for Warner Brothers. I had a lot of collectible things. I could still remember the people that worked for me and who liked what character. I had so much more enjoyment giving it to them than putting it on and selling it for $1 when it cost me $25. It was so much more enjoyable to do it now and have people go, this, I remember when we sold this. So think about that. Okay? It's not a crime to do it now, and it can be so much more enjoyable. But make sure you want to get rid of it. If it's something you think you're going to wear sometime, and you're sure you're going to wear it sometime, then do it. And keep it. Number 7, they call it avoid punting. Punting is when you convince the next generation into taking something they really don't want. Okay? I hear some laughter out there. We've probably all done that, right? I know you're going to want to wear this. And my son is going, I'll never wear that lapel width ever in my life. That tie is the most hideous thing I've ever seen. Okay? But don't do that. Okay? On the other hand, I'll tell you, my grandparents, they lived in Rogers Park. They were old Chicagoans. They had a dining room set that was custom made at Marshall Fields. It still had Marshall Fields written in black crayon under the mahogany table. And my grandmother gave it to me when I was 24 and she went into a nursing home. And she said, I'm going to give you the dining room set if you will, in exchange for that you'll have Christmas dinner because I won't be able to do it anymore. I'm 24, I don't know how to cook, but I had an apartment with no furniture, so I was happy to get the dining room set. And I kept that dining room set until 3 years ago, and then I passed it on to my daughter. Okay, that was not punting. Okay, that was something that was really meaningful, but that doesn't happen all the time. It just so happened my grandmother had really good taste, so that dining room set still looked nice. But a lot of stuff we have, this isn't functional anymore. One thing, if you're one of those people out there that invested in entertainment centers, you will find that nobody wants an entertainment center anymore, okay? Almost every furniture donation place that you go to will say, no entertainment centers. Because TVs are different shapes and sizes. They are like a curse. You might as well light a match to it. So don't be thinking that's something you're going to hand on. But make sure you don't say to your friends and relatives, you don't know when you're going to need it, okay? Because that's not right. You're better off to go down a level, go to someone else that really can use it and take it, but don't force it on somebody because you're only going to be disappointed when you go to their house and they don't have it anymore. Okay? Point number 8, donate, donate, donate. Okay? There are people that need things. There are people that don't have winter coats. There are people sleeping in tents on Lakeshore Drive, okay, that don't have gloves, okay? There are people that need socks. So there are all kinds of organizations, and if you don't know where to go for this, I will tell you one of the best resources. There are tremendous ideas on the AARP website, aarp.org, okay? But in every city, in every community, there are places where people need clothes, they need furniture. Okay, there are places like Habitat for Humanity where they build homes for people, but the homes don't have furniture. Okay, so you can find places that will take that stuff, and then your house is more manageable and livable, and your relatives don't have to clean it all up and get rid of it when you're gone. Okay? We had 2 kids. We knew we were only going to have 2 kids, and when we were done with the second kid, we asked around, and our neighbor had a secretary who was having a child by herself. She had no money, and we outfitted the whole baby's room. One fell swoop. She took it all. I was happy to see it go to a place where it was needed, and it was going to have love, and it was one less thing for me to carry to the next house and lift and hurt my back. So there's always someone probably that can use it, and ask around. I will tell you, if you can't find someone that uses it, you can go to these organizations where they will take it and take it to 3 charities, and if those charities don't want it, then they charge you like a minimal fee to dispose of it. Okay, but you don't have to do the hunting, and you don't have to do the lifting. They'll come in your house and take it.
Unknown caller.
Point number 9, be realistic. Okay? Sometimes the biggest problem here is we aren't realistic about our ideas of what is valuable and what isn't, and what is wearable and what isn't. How many people here think they have more than 3 different sizes in their closet? Okay. How many people have more than 3 holidays worth of decorations? I celebrate Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, Day of the Dead. You know, each one's a bin or 3. It adds up. Okay. So it's realistic and smart to give away, for me, that 28 waistband, 30 waistband, the 32, some of the 34s. Okay, that's a lot. Food is the same way. How many have ever played that game where you go through your pantry and look at the expiration dates? Okay? Look at the spice rack. Look at the canned goods. Okay? How much stuff have we held on to that just, it isn't even good anymore? Okay? Food dating started in 1984. If there's something that doesn't have a date on it, it's probably time to say goodbye. Okay? I moved 9 times in my career, but if there's something that's moved with you twice, it's probably time to say goodbye to it. And point number 10, get rid of the paper and get rid of the photos. And I will tell you, that's the most controversial thing here, I think. It's because we all want the photos. There was a time I went through all my photos. I was a big photographer, and I must have had 30 or 40 scrapbooks that were all done. Okay? You know what? The scrapbooks are heavy. The pictures are mostly damaged because I had those stupid scrapbooks where you stick the picture in and it's stuck, so the picture's damaged. Okay? And they're not, then how much of those pictures are trees or mountains or something that don't mean anything to anybody? I wish I would have known that earlier in life, and I would have just taken pictures of people in front of things, but I didn't know that, okay? You can digitize all that old stuff, and I didn't want to get rid of it. I just wanted it in a manageable place. And there are ways to do that very simply, okay? There is an app called Photomine, Photomyne. You take a picture with your cell phone or your camera of a scrapbook page, and it isolates the pictures and separates them. You don't have to peel them off, you don't have to take the vinyl off or anything like that. You can just take a picture of it. And there are a million tools like that. My dad had a bunch of slides. I gotta tell you, I don't know anyone that's got a slide projector anymore, but there's a service that you can take them to. I think it's at Walgreens, it used to be at Costco, that you can take slides and they'll put them into pictures, or they'll digitize them on a flip drive. So much easier, okay? And you can take them, you can put them in a slideshow on your computer, not real slides, but like a computer slide, and show them to people. I mean, my family loves looking at them, but to have the physical photo is boxes and boxes. And how many of us have the photos in a box and not in a scrapbook? You know, it's like, and then they get wet, or they get damaged, or they get warped, or they get discolored. So putting them on a computer, and if you don't know how, I'm sure there's someone in your family that does, is a great way to preserve those memories, to bring them out at a holiday and show them and enjoy them, but not to have the physical presence of all these photos. Same thing with documents, okay? How many people keep all their old checks? You know, how many people have those checks sitting around? And watching your city, they will all, every city has a shredding day or a shredding week where they shred for free, okay? Take them and have them shredded. If you don't have a shredder yourself, I'll tell you, I think you get a shredder for $50 or something, and just shred it all up, and then you use the shredding to stuff your Christmas boxes with. But it's one less thing for someone else to worry about. And the thing with financial documents and taxes and things like that is they can be dangerous in the wrong hands. Okay? You're much better off to have them digitized, have a screenshot of it, put it on your computer. So, we went through a lot with these 10 points. Who here has a suggestion of what they've done to minimize their footprint of extra stuff? I'm doing a lot of talking here, and I'm sure some of you have some good ideas. Yes, ma'am?
Ambets calls me every 2 months, and I always make sure I have a big bag of stuff out front.
She said Ambets calls her every 2 months. Okay, she has a routine like we talked about earlier. There's one place she goes to, and that's where the stuff goes. And then if you're smart in your house, you'll have that box or that bag in one spot, and that's where we put the stuff when we find it that we want to give away. And that way you've got a regular routine. Who else has a suggestion of what they've done to declutter?
I have it when,
Yes, ma'am.
when my family comes to visit, or anybody that I know. If you want this, tell me now.
Okay.
Put your name on it.
Make the announcement at our family get-together when you have them over for dinner and say, hey, look through the china cabinet, see if there's anything you want there,
Yeah.
and let me give it to you now. And it feels good to give it,
Right?
right?
Yeah, here it is.
Somebody else had a suggestion over here?
I always say, when in doubt, throw it out.
When in doubt, throw it out. There's a really good mantra. When in doubt, throw it out. That's a good one. Oh. Anyone else here have suggestions of what they've done? Yes, ma'am.
This isn't really a suggestion, it's something my family just went through. My mother and father-in-law passed, and all the grandchildren were there. And the game they played was, who found the most, or the thing in the pantry with the latest date? And they had a huge fun time with that.
That's a great, she said, what they did in their family when somebody passed away was they had a contest. And whoever found the food item with the latest date on it won a prize. That could be fun too. Other yes, ma'am.
I go through my clothes closets twice a year. If I haven't worn it within those 2 seasons, it's gone.
She goes through a clothes closet twice a year, and if she hasn't worn it in 2 seasons, she gets rid of it. Great point. Great point. I think clothes are one of the biggest things that we collect. Yes, ma'am.
Blackboard has a seniors expo coming up in June where they have shredding for free.
She said there's a senior expo coming up in June where they have shredding for free. Okay? It's good probably if you've got an office or an office space in your home to have a box where the stuff that's going to be shredded goes. Oh, here it is. Great. Shred events coming up in Romeoville on Thursday, April 23rd at the Sunset Park parking lot, and in Lockport, in the Lockport Township parking lot on Wednesday, June 3rd. But I mean, almost every city has these shredding events, and you can get rid of all your stuff and know that it's safe. Thank you. Credit unions will also do it, she says, and banks. Okay, because they don't want your numbers out there either. Yes, sir.
Go into your clothes closet and hang all your hangers backwards. And after a year, if you haven't taken that hanger off, it's still backwards, get rid of it.
He has a great idea. I've never heard this before. Put everything in your clothes closet at the hanger backwards. And in the end of the year, if you haven't turned it around, that means you haven't worn it. So to this lady's idea, those are the things you've got to donate. Okay? Great idea. Fabulous. Yes, ma'am.
I have trouble getting rid of things that my children made when they were young.
Oh, yeah.
So, files and things. So I have large bins with each one of their names on it. And when I find those things that I'm having a hard time getting rid of, I put in their bins. And when they come over, they get to look at it and either take it or dump it.
Fantastic. She said they put all the artwork in each kid's in a bin with the kids' names on it. And when they come over, to your point, they get to go through the bin and take what they might want. Some other great ideas I saw. My daughter has 2 little kids, and she's at that point with, like, what do we do with the old clothes? There are companies that will make stuffed animals with like almost quilt patterns of the fabric from the old clothes, which is a great idea to do. Okay, I took my old T-shirts, because I had a million T-shirts, of course none of them fit, but they remind me of a concert or a walk I was part of, or a charity or whatever. There's groups that will make those T-shirts into a quilt. Okay, they'll take the logo off of it and sew it together, and the one that I use employs veterans to do it. And I got a queen-size quilt with all the memories on it. It really is nice enough to make a wall hanging out of. Okay, I've seen people take jewelry, women's jewelry, especially brooches and earrings, and make them into artwork, like a wall hanging that looks like a Christmas tree, where it's all the jewelry, all the old brooches putting together. Yes, ma'am.
I'm in the process now of getting rid of things. So things I want to get rid of that might have some value, I put on the table in the garage. And I told the kids, at the end of June, everybody's coming over one day, and I'll give them empty boxes. You take what you want, and then you pack up what's left and seal it, so I can't get into it. They can call ambets, and they can come and pick it all up.
If you didn't hear that, she's putting all the stuff she wants to get rid of on a table in the garage. Everyone comes over one day. They take what they want. They also have to take whatever's left and seal it up so that she doesn't have to look at it. Okay? Great ideas. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. What can you do with military uniforms?
What can you do with military uniforms? I would tell you the one place I think of, and there's one in Oak Brook, there's other ones around, is a barbecue place called Mission Barbecue. And I believe that they honor anyone in uniform. I gave some of my father's fireman stuff there. You might check with them. There's also probably, is it Navy Surplus or something? There are stores that just sell recycled military stuff. But that's a good question. Anyone else have any suggestions on military uniforms?
I guess you could check with the DFW VFW.
VFW?
Maybe they can tell you.
Buys the jewelry, guns or swords.
This lady had a really great suggestion. Crescent Jewelers in Frankfurt buys jewelry and uniforms. Okay? I know my father collected license plates. Okay, so I had a huge stack of license plates. First of all, I found an artist that took the license plates and made them into pictures. Like he did a map of the United States out of die-cut pieces of the license plates. Okay?
I used to collect
But
stamps.
they also take uniforms and they rework them into things too. Yes, sir.
Back to uniforms. If there are current uniforms, see if you can find an active unit, like Coast Guard, Army, whatever, and you could donate them. We used to call them the lucky bag.
What'd you call it? Sorry.
Lucky bag.
Lucky bag.
So they could take the uniforms out and use them again, so they had a free uniform.
You might contact that division of the service and see if they can't reuse something that's current. Okay, if you've got something that's current and they recycle them.
You might contact a recruiter. They would have an idea.
Recruiter, an Army or Navy or Air Force recruiter would be a great idea. Yes, ma'am.
When we have our World War II and World War III displayed in the Park District, around September, if you go there with your uniform and talk to those gentlemen over there, they could give you information of what you do with the uniforms or photos and all that, and they're very good, they'll help you out, because they did with me a couple years ago.
She said if you've got uniforms, you might look at one of these reenactments or one of these military events where they might know where to direct it. Yes, sir.
At those type of units, they have events. They have vendors that will buy you old uniforms.
Yeah, they'll buy them.
At some of these military events, they will have people that will actually buy the old uniforms. That's what I did with some of the license plates. Once I got done making art, I found there was an antique store in Chicago. They loved getting the old license plates. They use them for things, so they bought them from me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a couple of ideas for silver. Your kids don't want it. Even sterling works. Is you can make them into rings. You can make them into barrettes. You can make them into little card holders, so you can, give that to a grandchild, and now they have a piece of your silver. Something we do with China is you take the plate, and then you take the salad plate, and then you take the bread plate, and you make it like a 3-tiered dessert stand. And now they have some of the China, but they don't have a whole set.
She had great ideas about repurposing things, okay? Like there are things that you can learn at craft shows and craft websites that you can take old china and make it into something different, okay? You can take sterling and you can make it into rings. There's a place, and I'm forgetting the name of it, I think it might be called Replacement Silver or something. There's a place in the Carolinas that buys sterling and completes people's sets, and it's amazing. They pay pretty good money for it. Okay, so that's another place where you might be able to find a new home for it. Yes,
I
ma'am.
got one more. My dad just passed away, and so we took 14 of his dress shirts out of the closet, and they're going to be made into a pillow cover for each of the grandchildren.
She's taking her dress shirts and they're making them into pillows. What I did was I was in a business where I had to wear a suit and tie all the time, and that doesn't happen very often these days. So I took all my suits and ties to DePaul University, and they have a closet there for kids that are graduating that need interview clothes. Okay, so there's also Dress for Success. I think it's more, Dress for Success is more for women's clothes. But if you have those dressy clothes that you don't wear anymore, there are places that you can donate them where they're really good use. And a lot of these kids wear a suit and tie once for the interview and that's it. But you're saving them a lot of money. Courtney, are we about? All right. One last comment. Does anyone else have anything else they want to share? You guys have some great suggestions. Okay, well, I'll just end with one thing. I first of all appreciate your attendance and appreciate the fact that we did this without the slides. They're a lot more entertaining than I am. I do want to put in a plug for AARP. I'm a proud volunteer at AARP. As Courtney said, I get to do all kinds of fun things. I lobby in Springfield. I get to give presentations. I hand out swag at the state fair. We're always looking for volunteers, and you can do whatever you want. I mean, Courtney and I were at the ballet at the Joffrey for the Nutcracker this year and helping people there. But there's all kinds of things you can do, and you don't have to be physically fit to do any of it. And you don't have to volunteer, but a couple times. It's not a 20-hour-a-week commitment. It's fun. It's active people like all of you. You learn good things. So, think about that if it's something you'd like to do. I appreciate everyone's participation today. I'm sorry for the slides, but I thank you for your suggestions. I've got some ideas. I'm going to go home and make another dent into my messy apartment. So thank you.
Applause for Rick. I did learn some things. I'm going to go home and do some of that stuff myself. As I said, I was waiting for this presentation because I've actually never heard it, and I needed some really good tips. And I just got them from not only him, but from you guys. So thank you for that. Also wanted to, we have a an AARP driver safety instructor that's in the room, and he just wanted to remind you guys, if you are interested, the AARP driver safety program the next class is April 27th and April 28th at Homer Township, so that's not too far from here, if you are interested in signing up for that. Any comments, questions, anything anybody needs before we are off and running for the rest of the day? Anybody? Yes.
You're talking about something on the financial.
So next month is, I believe it's April 28th is our next meeting, right? Yes, April 28th. It is around, the topic is around the finances 50 plus. So it's budgeting and just making sure our money grows, and we keep the money that we have and we make sure that we grow it, right? So finances 50 plus is kind of the subject matter. Okay, off and running. Have the most wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful month.